Okay, we're back with Ron and another question from a member. Ron, in each of our individual preparation to ascend and increase vibration, will the many of us that are doing this create this oneness and love quotient you speak about?
Um, it's a good question. Um, we don't create the oneness. We don't create the love quotient because we are humans are pure love. Where did that come from? That comes from our Father. Prime Creator is pure love, pure intelligence, and all those pure things that we ascribe to God. So as we're preparing to ascend, what is it that is necessary to prepare to ascend? It's nothing that we can do consciously. Um, well, then how do we do it? Well, it's a natural thing. It comes from the desires. It comes from the inner guidance system that you're tuning into. And I have always said, you are the one that creates the experiences of your life. If you go to the third dimension, you have created it prior to getting there, or you would not be there. How's how is that? The fact that you have to create the experiences of your life is the requirement for you to experience the things that are necessary to create what you're trying to create. Now, if you focus on the creation rather the end result of what you want, then you're going to be doing a whole bunch of things. I've got to love my neighbor. I better, if I'm going to love my neighbor as myself, I better run over there and say hello. And it gives a false, and I'm not saying it's not sincere. I'm not saying that it is insincere. I'm just saying that your natural abilities, what you are, being the love that is perfected, when we come down to the earth, or we have become a soul extension or a personality, we don't have a lot of experience, but we are natural, and in that natural way of that we are is the being the things that we need to be to become, let's call it, ascended. When we talk about the ascended masters, they went through everything that they needed to do to gain the understanding. But as much as anything, it has to do with the way that you live. I'm going to not focus on the process of getting becoming ascended. I'm going to focus on the fact that where I'm going, I can stop at the fifth dimension, or I can go on to the sixth or the seventh or the eighth, or all the way up to the 16th. It's much more difficult. You're going to have to work harder to get there, and have to be pure in those higher ways of being as a human. But in physicality, that's what's available to us. So in physicality, meaning that we are physical in nature rather than just spiritual. Um, that's our physicality, and in physicality, um, we have limitations from DNA and other things for the body that we have created for ourselves. Now, the soul is still involved in this. The soul is your inner guidance system to get you to be where you're supposed to be at the right time to be there. So you came down to the earth with a purpose, and I'm going to use Love One Society as an example. Most of the, if not all of the people who become part of Love One Society helped to create it in the spiritual world before it was created naturally on the earth. It was only downloaded to me. It wasn't created by me. It was just download. This is, and I had to go through all of the gyrations of, uh, there's opposition in all things. So, we don't want this, we don't want that. Well, there's a big rock. We're going to hit that. So let's go over here a little bit and adjust things. And that's the way that we live our lives in third dimension. So when I'm trying to create something, if I'm only focusing on the creation and I'm not focusing on the end result, then I'm just going around in a circle. You're working and working and working, and you're not getting any place. And that's what a lot of people have done because they don't have the full knowledge that Yeshua gave us as the way to move forward. Come follow me, and I'll take you to the Father. Well, he says that to us because he's done that. He went to the Father himself and introduced himself to his Father. Who's his Father? Do you think it's his higher self, his higher soul? Or do you think it's Prime Creator? Prime Creator views his creations as perfect. There's nothing wrong. So we come down here and we're called sinners. Well, that's just a bunch of garbage. We are perfect. We came here with free agency to do anything that we wanted to create. And that's our job. Free agency means go and create the things that you want. Okay, good. So you go out and create things and you do something that's a little bit different than other people think you should be doing. Well, they're going to call that a sin. And oh, you're not perfect. You did this, you did that. But God doesn't see it that way. It gave you free agency. So whatever you create is your responsibility. And again, creation is you as a creator are responsible for what you create and your life force energy and how to use that. Those are the things that you're not judged on. It just determines how fast you go down the road towards where you want to go. So intent, love, that's just who we are. It's natural for us to love people. It's natural for us to be kind. It's natural for us because that's the love that we are, pure love. And if we ever understood that, we would understand why we've had such a difficult time with the way things are in third dimension. And third dimension is not real. It's just a fictitious way of creating something that where we can go and do things that are different than what is involved in the spirit world. We can't have the fears and we can't have the forgiveness. We can't do because you can't do anything in the spirit world to hurt somebody. You just don't. That doesn't happen. And yet you come down here to third dimension and you murder and kill people or go up and slug your brother or something like that. Those are things that are just part of what is in third dimension, but that's not who we are. Third dimension is not who we are. We come from the higher dimensions. And so when we get rid of the third dimension, we we eliminate the things that are keeping us in third dimension, and our bodies just move into the higher resonance, the higher vibrations. And there we are. And we've done that simply because that's who we are. I don't know that there's any magic in it rather than just being who you are. You know, if I know that I'm a child of God, then I'm going to be a child of God. I'm going to learn to love everybody. I'm going to learn to, first of all, love myself. People talk about loving of God. Well, that's just naturally who you are. Glory be to God. Why do you want to give glory to God? He's got it all. And so those are the silliness of things that we have from third dimension. So my idea is that we move into a love quotient by loving people. You know, we have different things here in third dimension that are different, but in higher dimensions, there's no singularity like in a marriage. You love everybody the same way. It's hard for us to understand this kind of stuff, but that's the way it's going to be because that's who we are naturally. And the cabal has not allowed us to be who we are naturally. So they control our lives so that they can continue to dominate us. So we're coming out from underneath all that. We get to excuse those people and let them go someplace else, and we just have a life without opposition. And that's where we really, really will take off. And if you look at Love One Society, you'll see where it starts and where it ends up. Galactic commerce is what international commodity clearinghouses is all about. We're moving into intergalactic commerce. So those are things. How did we do that? We're just going to do it because that's what we create. We're going to create and catch ourselves back up to what every other star nation has gone. So
Okay.
there we
Ron,
go.
that's great. We appreciate that answer very much. And with that, we'll be right back.